This is Donald Parham. You're listening to Chargers Unleashed, part of the LAFB Network. Stay jiggy.
Hey, this is Chris from the second, Chargers outside linebacker, and make sure you check out Chargers Unleashed.
Shout out to Chargers Unleashed, Sebastian Joseph Day, you know the vibes, we outside.
You checking in with Mike Williams from the LA Chargers, and you're tuning in to Chargers Unleashed.
You're listening to the Chargers Unleashed podcast with your host, Dan Wolkenstein and Jake Hefner.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, being brought to you by BetOnline, Charger Bolt Family, Rock Solid Sports Memorabilia, and Athletic Greens. If this is your first time tuning into the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein. We are now fully entrenched in Week 15 of the NFL regular season. Yesterday, we got done with our preview of the Chargers-Titans matchup. Pivotal Chargers-Titans matchup that is coming up this Sunday. And as Dan will occasionally do, and I've mentioned this on the show before, Dan likes to work the phones a little bit. Dan has made some good relationships with certain people in the Chargers organization. And we thought, what the hell could be better than capping off on a Friday, end of the week, than bringing in a very special guest. And as usual, I will let Dan Wolkenstein tell you who will be joining us on the show very, very shortly. Dan Wolkenstein, please take it away.
Before we get into our special guest, and actually, if you listened to last episode, it was one of Jake's bold predictions. Wink, wink. Before we get into our special guest episode, Jake, let's talk about our good friends over at BetOnline. Chargers versus Titans. Over, under. 3 turnovers for this Chargers team. Let's set the line at 2.5. Over, under for you. Chargers defense causing over, under 2.5 turnovers.
I'm going to go under on that one.
Okay.
Go under on that one.
All right, fine. All right, Jake, let's talk to our friends over at BetOnline.
P.S. Nice way to leave other people in suspense after the line that I basically let off on. Hey, yeah, introduce our special guest. Now we're going to talk about BetOnline first. So in that circumstance, I want to remind everybody that BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends over at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all of your favorite sports events, whether that's NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, or even golf. Head on over to betonline.ag today and join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
One of the valuable players from last week's Week 14 massive win against the Miami Dolphins. Special teams ace, along with now cornerback starting for Bryce Callahan last week and absolutely balled out. The one and only Jazir Taylor, the rookie standout, joins us on Chargers Unleashed next. Can't wait to talk about this upcoming matchup. We'll talk about his rookie year so far, the defensive performance. Exciting times for this team as we head down the stretch. We're in December football that is meaningful, and that's all you can ask for. Jake, before we get into that, last thing, our friends over at Athletic Greens have got me pumped up this morning. I've got all the stuff going on. So this morning, put it on all the shaker, 1 little scoop, 3 ice cubes.
3 ice cubes.
Water, shake it for 30 seconds, all the vitamins and minerals. I'm rocking it. Let's talk about our friends over at Athletic Greens with the AG1 product that is literally transforming my attitude and bringing the energy day after day.
Transforming your attitude, Dan? For the ultimate optimist, it's transforming your attitude. I mean, my God, they better start using you as their major spokesperson, if that is the truth. If you can, how do you make an optimist even more optimistic? Go out and get Athletic Greens right now. Is what we're basically trying to say. As Dan has mentioned, we both have been using Athletic Greens for about the past 2 months now. And if you're like me, if you're pushing that 40 number in terms of your age goes, I personally like to stay as humanly fit as possible, but my diet has never, ever been on par. What can I say? I have a sweet tooth. I like carbs, but I definitely have neglected myself as it relates to the veggies throughout my 20s and my 30s, and Athletic Greens definitely supplants that in a big, big way. As Dan mentioned, full of vitamins and minerals, all the essentials that you need. If you're not into making the veggie shakes with your celery, with your lettuce, with your kale, whatever diet you plan on doing, this is the very, very easy daily supplement to take. As Dan mentioned, 1 scoop. If you're like Dan, 3 ice cubes, shake it in a thing of water for 30 seconds, and you get yourself a nice little dietary drink. But whatever diet you guys happen to be on, whether that's keto, vegan, vegetarian, gluten diet, whatever it is, Athletic Greens serves all in that circumstance. So to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go visit athleticgreens.com/Chargers Unleashed. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Chargers Unleashed to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Again, guys, can't say it enough. Athletic Greens, great product. Get yourself healthy today. Tell them Chargers Unleashed sent you.
Rookie cornerback standout Jazir Taylor joining us coming up next on Chargers Unleashed. Week 15 of the Chargers 2022 NFL season. The team's sitting at 7-6 with the Tennessee Titans coming into town this Sunday. Huge opportunity to get to 8-6 down the stretch with just 3 games to go. Nothing like meaningful football in December. One of the stars in last week's galaxy-sized Chargers performance from this Chargers defense versus Miami, putting in work all season, got his shot last weekend on primetime versus Dolphins, and balled out. One of the members of the Jack Boys, Chargers rookie cornerback Jazir Taylor, joins us on Chargers Unleashed. Ja, thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays. How are you? How's the team feeling going into the Titans game?
We're feeling great. I mean, we just came off a nice big win on primetime, and just like any other week, we got to bounce back and get back into the lab and use the 24-hour rule and get ready to beat the Titans.
So, okay, within the 24-hour rule, we're going to get all kinds of stuff. But before we get into everything, I got to ask you, 24-hour rule, how did you guys celebrate, or how did you celebrate? You got 24 hours to soak it in. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff being talked about.
I spent time with my family. I had my family come from Jersey. They made it to my first start. So I spent the time with them before they left and head out on Tuesday.
I love it. I love it. I love that they got to see you during the game, too. That's awesome. All right, so lots to discuss. Obviously, huge game against the Titans. We'll talk about the defense and special teams that you're a part of, the team mentality down the stretch, and maybe some of the learnings that you're getting from some of the veterans. But let's just start with last week and your performance. Stepping in for Bryce Callahan in the slot, big matchup against the Dolphins. You finished 5 tackles, 2 assists, huge impact, not only on defense, but also special teams. The team had to have heard some of the outside noise and narratives going into the matchup. Take us into the locker room like last week leading into the game. Like, what were the coaches and captains' messages? What were people saying? What was your mindset like heading into that with all the talk outside?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great opportunity for our defense, our whole team. Nobody thought we can do what we did with the guys that we had out and the guys stepping in. So that just gave us more juice to really get to practice, get our groove together, and really go out there and put on the show. So it was all good. And inside our locker room, we were confident. There was no flinch, and we were ready to take on the challenge.
Was there one person that had like a message that stood out about like, hey, we got to rally for our quarterback? Like, you hear all the noise, or like, we got to rally for so-and-so. Like, was there something that sticks out to you?
Nothing in particular, but usually during our team meeting, Coach Staley does a good job of just intertwining offense, defense, and special teams, all of us playing together. And when one goes onto the field, letting them know what the job is to complete and just pumping each other up.
Now, Jazir, speaking of Bryce Callahan, you're stepping in for him last week. This DB group has a ton of guys with different skill sets and experience that they bring to this unit. This being your rookie year, what are some of the tangible benefits or advice that you've gotten from some of the veterans like Bryce, like Derwin, and other veterans that you've been able to translate onto the field?
Yeah, I get to learn a lot from Bryce Callahan. He's been in this defense since he stepped in the league, so I sit next to him in meetings. I ask him a million questions. He's probably tired of me, but I'm trying to get all the knowledge I can from him because he's really a master at the position and the defense. So I pick up tips and tricks on his game and how he prepares. And also from the safeties, Derwin, Nas, Lowe, everybody has unique abilities that I can steal kind of from their game and put into mine. So I'm in a great room where I can learn and take things from people's game just to get better.
Now, you kind of said it last week. Everybody was basically counting this defense out with the number of injuries, who they were going up against, the Tyreek Hills, the Jalen Waddles. We've watched you since training camp, and you get to go up against the likes of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer in practice. How has that experience and those practice reps help you prepare for games on Sundays?
Oh, it's the best preparation. I mean, I get to go against the best receivers in the league in training camp and really compete. As a rookie, I'm put out there in front of Mike Williams, who will dunk on you if they throw it up. So that's a big receiver. You go in the slot, you got to cover Keenan, who has all the moves and savviness in the world, and all over Josh Palmer running routes, DeAndre Carter. Like, you get the best of everything in each receiver in here, and really getting to compete against those guys each and every day really prepared me for this moment.
Now, Coach Staley, I know, has talked a lot about the performance of special teams this year and how dependable that unit has been. And you and fellow rookie Dean Leonard have been key contributors to that. Talk to us about special teams coach Ryan Fitkin and the impact that he's had on you and the rest of the unit. And what are some of the key themes that he's really instilled in the special teams?
Yeah, as a rookie, you obviously know that you have to make your way on special teams. So I really committed to that, and in training camp, even during the season, getting extra meetings with Coach Fick and Coach Beep, just learning the game plan, figuring out how I can impact the game anyway. And Coach Fick does a great job laying out our roles and what he expects from us and putting us in great positions to succeed.
We're talking to Jazir Taylor, number 36 of your Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I got to ask you, last week, I don't know if a lot of people saw this, but there was an interesting adjustment made by the special teams unit. On one of the initial punt returns, DeAndre Carter took a pretty big shot, and it was clear the coaching staff and team kind of noticed it, and the special teams kind of pulled yourself aside, made an adjustment, and then, minutes later, former special teamer Raheem Lane peels back on a punt return and just absolutely obliterates the Dolphins gunner in the middle of the field. Talk us through that sequence. How does that speak to the mentality of this team as a special teams unit? How did that whole thing kind of take form?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much correlation those two plays have together, but anytime our guy takes a hit, we're bound to fight for our brother and lay one back. So Raheem Lane got the call to go out there and slam the gunner, and he really set the tone. That was the biggest hit we had all year. It got the whole team pumped up, and that's just another way where our special teams can contribute to the game. It pumps up the offense, the defense. Everybody's flowing, and just great plays like that on special teams means a lot.
It was so fun to see that afterwards, because as fans watching that, everyone was watching it, and they saw it I was there at the stadium in the stands watching that, and I was like, oh, okay, here we go. You mentioned defense. The defense has seen so much attrition this year, unfortunately, due to injuries, so many different lineups and all the position groups. J.C. Jackson, Austin Johnson, Joey Bosa, Derwin, a lot of the D-line. Coach Staley talks a lot and uses the term connected. How does that attrition affect the connectivity for you guys? On the defensive side, how have you and the team kind of kept it together, stayed on a string with so much going on with your roster?
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, unfortunately, for us during the season. But when we get out on the practice field, I believe the coaches do a great job of mixing in guys during practice so we all can play with each other, learn how one another plays. So I credit that to the coaches, just putting different guys out there on the units to be able to play off each other.
And on top of that attrition this year, obviously the injuries have been well documented, but on top of that, this team has also faced adversity just throughout the entire season. A little bit of inconsistencies, ups and downs, just, the team currently sitting at 7-6, but now has 4 weeks with that path left to the playoffs. And it appears the team is starting to get healthier at the right time. So how would you assess this team's defensive performance so far this year, and especially the goal heading into these last 4 weeks?
Yeah, definitely the goal heading into these last 4 weeks is just to win out. I mean, we know what's ahead of us. We know what we have to do to get to where we want to be. So not looking too far ahead, but just zoning in on each week and each game that we have to go out there and play our best performance. I mean, the past weeks before December, we weren't playing good defense, and we just have to build on great performances like we did against the Dolphins. And we're playing in December, and we know what we're playing for. So as long as we continue to win in December, those games in the past will be in the past.
We're wrapping up with Jazir Taylor. John, thank you so much for taking some time with us. I got to ask you, is there a specific thing that got unlocked for the defense? You mentioned it could have played better. What is it that the defense did last week that all of a sudden was bam, a switch was flipped, and then now everyone's oh, can they do it against a running team like Tennessee, a physical team, after the passing juggernaut of Miami? Was there something that clicked?
We've just been preaching each week that we don't like where we are in the run game, and we know our defense overall, we have so much talent, and sometimes, like you said, it's inconsistent. So last week in practice, we were on it hard. We have to hustle to the ball, stop the pass, stop the run, really put out our best performance, or at least go out there and show the world what we can do. And I think we owned up to that challenge, and that's going to be the mindset each week. We know what we have, but that doesn't mean anything if we don't go out there and show it.
Pivotal matchup this week. Pivotal. You cannot say enough about how important this game is. Tough, physical Tennessee Titans team coming into town at SoFi, also playing for their playoff lives. Everyone knows that team kind of starts and stops with King, Derrick Henry. You've also got Robert Woods, Ryan Tannehill. They are a little bit banged up too, but how does this defense, how do you guys prepare for a matchup versus such a physical offense this week versus last week, which is more of a finesse, speed, timing?
Oh, it's time to get down and dirty. I mean, we love this challenge. It's a great opportunity. Everybody knows the narrative. They say we can't stop the run, and what better way to show it against the Tennessee Titans? Both teams fighting to get into the playoffs, and it's time to just put on a great display of run defense and force them to pass and stop them in the pass and have a great day out there.
Let's go. Jazir Taylor, everyone. John, thank you so much for joining us. Clearly, you have taken a lesson or two on how to do this PR thing because you have been fantastic. Other than Sunday afternoon for the game, anything going on this weekend with the family, friends, team? What's your weekend look like heading into the game?
Nothing. Just preparing for this game. Hopefully come back with a win. And probably on Monday, Tuesday, I'd probably go see my family celebrate.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, and then last question. Got to ask. When Victory Mondays happen, what is the meal of choice?
Ooh, my favorite meal is hibachi, but it's hard to find hibachi out here.
You're talking to the right people.
So, Victory Monday, like I said, I was with my family last Monday, so go up there, have my mom cook some food, maybe some pasta, chicken Alfredo, something like that.
Oh, home cooking.
Carb
Nothing like home cooking. Hopefully we can continue the home cooking at SoFi this Sunday afternoon. Jazir Taylor, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck on Sunday to you and the team. Best of luck for the season. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thank you. I appreciate your time.